Namaste. My name is Kirti, and on behalf of Himalayan Yoga Association, I welcome you all to this online teacher training course. I am a teacher here at Himalayan Yoga Association, and I will be taking you through the concepts and details of the human body and yoga altogether. Let's hope you enjoy this course. Let's start.
Namaste and welcome back to the online yoga teacher training course. In the previous session, we discussed the different schools of yoga. Bhakti Yoga, also known as the yoga of devotion, Jnana Yoga or the pursuit of knowledge, Karma Yoga or the selfless act of service, and a combination of all three of these different types of yogas known as Raj Yoga, which is all about the perfect yogi or the perfect human being. If somebody is practicing Raj Yoga, then he is taking a little bit from all of these different types of yogas, basically created for the royal class people in the ancient Indian culture, namely the princes and the kings of the society. In today's session, we are going to further explore the objectives of yoga and how it is possible to achieve them. But before we go ahead and do that, I would need you to come and sit with me as we chant the Gayatri Mantra, just like how we do before every other session. Simply sit straight with your spine completely erect. Activate Chin Mudra with your hands. Rest your palms on your knees with the palms facing the ceiling. Roll your shoulders to the back. Activate the third eye by gazing directly with your eyes closed towards the top of your forehead. And slowly breathe in and breathe out. Allow your breath to work its magic on your mind and your body. And while you're sitting in complete stillness, observe the movement that is created by your breath. Breathe and observe. This is like a mini meditation before every session, through which you can completely gather your awareness if you do it properly. Simply breathe in and breathe out. Now, after taking a few deep inhalations and exhalations, without opening your eyes, I request you to fold your palms and touch the heart center with the back of your thumbs. Now slowly take a deep inhalation. If you know the mantra, you can chant it with me. Otherwise, you can always repeat it afterwards. Let's go. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. Having absorbed the vibration and the effect of the mantra, let's create some energy between our palms by rubbing your palms against each other very gently. After you feel this energy between your palms, you should transfer this energy to your eyes. First hand, keep your eyes closed. Now transfer this energy to your face by massaging your face. Then you can continue on to transferring this energy to any other part of your body wherever you wish to. Before you open your eyes, once again fold your palms, bow down to your fingertips and the universal truth, and with a few blinks, open your eyes. So, why should we go ahead and pursue yoga? What is your personal motivation to pursuing yoga? Why did you start doing yoga? At what age? And what was your aim when it came to doing yoga? Yoga is an activity which includes breathing exercises, which includes physical stretches, which includes strength workouts in case if you are attempting very advanced poses. If you're trying to do Ashtanga, then it will train your body. It will try to do Iyengar yoga. It will fix your body. In fact, it is said that Iyengar yoga is usually meant for people who are having disaligned, disfigured or unstructured body which happened due to an accident. and it all can be fixed because of yoga. There are so many different aspects of yoga alive in today's time which have existed throughout and been tested as per history. Yoga therapy is another alternate way of medicine through which you can fix your body. So many different benefits of yoga therapy in the body. People who have not been able to find relief have found relief with the help of yoga and Ayurveda. If you are not able to sleep, insomnia, which is another raising complaint about the modern human being, it can be treated with the help of regular yoga practice. Some people go ahead and pursue yoga because they are experiencing mental illnesses in the form of depression, hyperactivity, anxiety, and so many other problems, which again is treatable by yoga. But I ask you this, is that all there is to yoga? Is that all that yoga is all about? Just fixing and correcting the physical body so that you can look good, so that you can function better? I would say not. The answer to this question, if we talk about the ultimate goal of yoga, if we talk about the objectives of yoga, then the answer to this question lies in the first 3 verses of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali itself. As we had the session about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, I told you that the first 3 verses are the most important verses of the entire Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. If you are aware of the objective and the psyche behind the creation of these 3 verses, then you will understand that all the rest of the 193 verses in the Yoga Sutras are all about how to achieve the goal of ultimate yoga. But what is this ultimate goal? For that, I want you to remember the second verse or the second sutra of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha, wherein yoga is yoga itself, Chitta is the mind, Vritti is the fluctuations, Nirodha means to control, to restrain, or to remove. So, the ultimate goal of yoga is to calm the mind to an extent, to relax the mind to an extent, to remove the fluctuations of the mind to an extent that every activity that the practitioner or the yogi participates in becomes an activity of excellence. The mind is the instrument through which we perceive the outside world. The human body is the instrument through which we interact with the outside world. Think of your whole self as a computer. A computer is made up of 2 main components, the software as well as the hardware. The software is useless if there is no hardware. The hardware is useless if there is no software inside the machine itself. But there is one very important component when it comes to the functioning of the computer that we are not thinking about. That very basic and very important component is the human observer to that whole computer itself. Without an observer or without someone who's working on that computer, both the software and the hardware have nothing to do. Without the human being who's operating the machine, the software and hardware without any operation at the end of the day will also rust and break down so that it remains infunctional. Similarly, in case of the physical body or the human being or any other organism for that matter, the mind is the software, the physical body remains the hardware, and the Atman, the soul, is the observer or the true operator of both of these things. Yes, life will throw lemons at the soul or this human being, but it is upon the activity or the understanding of the mind of how you perceive those lemons, whether you want to throw them away or whether you should go ahead and make lemonade out of those lemons. Without a mature mind, without a confident mind, without a mind which is non-conflicted with the environment, the human body will never be able to make the 100% use of itself. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha is a very good example about the ultimate objective of yoga, which is to take control of the mind, to take control of the software of the human being, through which you can change everything that surrounds you. And that is true with the help of yoga. You can change everything that surrounds you just by changing how the mind perceives things. This is exactly what happens. Let's go back to the example of computers. The software is running, the hardware is used for interacting with the software inside the machine. As a human observer, you input things inside it with the help of keyboard and mouse, which are the interactive devices through which you interact with the computer. Similarly, the incidences that happen to us, the incidents that take place around us, the sense organs are there to receive those incidences, to receive those happenings around us. Whatever we see, whatever we smell, whatever we touch, all of these things, they fall inside, they are absorbed by the waves of the mind or the functioning of the mind, and whatever is the understanding of the mind, whatever is the perception of the mind depending upon the data presented to it, becomes the image or becomes the booster of any of the mental abilities, which could be emotions, which could be cognitive abilities, which could be a response in a way. The first and the easiest way to respond to something starts from the mind itself. If the mind does not want to respond, then the finger will not move at all. If the mind does not want to grab something, then the hand will not grab anything, it will remain in a rested position. If the mind is in complete control, then the physical body will act upon its own decisions. And that is what the goal of yoga is, to take control of the mind. And if you go by the 8 limbs of yoga, the Ashtanga Yoga, wherein the sequence starts from yamas, niyamas, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. In any of the schools of yoga, no matter which school you pick, whether you have the 7 limbs, whether you have, there are some schools of yoga which only have the 4 limbs to reach the ultimate goal of enlightenment. Like I said, the common thing between all of these things is freedom, enlightenment, liberation of the mind. Everything is directly or indirectly associated with the mind, even in the practice of yoga. For instance, by constantly practicing yoga, the same way you strengthen the mind, by constantly practicing pranayam, the same way you strengthen the lungs, by constantly practice meditation, the same way you strengthen the mind itself, you are able to change how the mind operates. Practice makes a man and a mind perfect. So, by constantly practicing yoga, you reach higher levels of consciousness to an extent that you do not really need time to perceive things in a positive manner. By staying happy all the time, by perceiving things with a positive note and maturity, confidence, you are able to create positive output coming straight from the mind itself. When the mind is positive, the body will automatically respond in positivity. Even the toughest of situations are able to be handled with peace, calm, and excitement and happiness, just because you have better control of the mind. So what is, again, let me ask you this, what is the ultimate objective of yoga? Self-realization, liberation of the mind, and freedom of the entire mind, body, and soul. One way or the other, all 3 of these are interconnected with each other. One way or the other, all 3 of them can be achieved with regular, constant, and unbiased practice of yoga. You really need to walk on this path. That's why they say everything about India is all about yoga. Everything around us can be yogic in nature, granted you have the mind to interact with it in a yogic way. And this is what it's all about. Otherwise, if you are just getting better at asanas, then how can you be a yoga teacher? You are only becoming a better asana teacher, which is just 1/8 of the entire yogic philosophy, even according to the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So, my request to you is, of course, you should pay attention to asanas. This is the gateway through which you can demonstrate, through which you can experience freedom from the fluctuations of the mind. But it will not last entirely. Just with the help of asanas, you cannot take the goal of achieving liberation of the mind just with the help of asanas. You cannot do that. You have to jump deeper as you go deep in your practice, as you go farther in your own yogic journey. You'll realize that there is benefits to each and everything that you include, that you participate in, which is yogic in nature. Pranayam offers its own benefits to the mind and the body. Asanas, they have their own benefits to the body and the mind. Meditation has its own benefits to the mind and the body. Not just that, even if you do not participate in any of these activities, you can still practice yoga by remaining a kind, good human being. By being a kind, good human being, you are able to spread positivity, which again is one of the goals of yoga. To remain calm, innocent, confident and positive all the time. One more important aspect that you should consider about being a yogi is self-trust. Self-trust basically in yogic terms means that no matter what situation you have been exposed to, even if you have chosen the wrong path, which is, or let's say even if you have chosen the wrong door when it came to making decisions in your life, you should have the self-trust that you can still come out of that situation and try again, which is possible in every case, which usually happens with or without it. But if you are not yogic in nature, if pessimism is a habit for you, then self-trust would be missing, confidence would be missing, and it will be replaced by stress, negativity, and biased behavior towards what you interact with. So, developing self-trust is a very important factor for the liberation of the mind. Also, once again, remember, the ultimate goal of yoga is to liberate the mind. So, every activity that you think will affect the functioning of the mind in a positive manner can be a yogic activity for you. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I hope you found it informative. I hope you would be able to implement this change in your own life as well. I will see you again next time. Until then, namaste and thank you.